Welcome everybody to the House of Dre's podcast. I am your host, Dre himself, and on today's podcast, we're taking a look at 12, I guess they call it the 12 best or greatest superhero movies ever made, ever. Apparently, this is somebody wrote in the article. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. So that's what today's podcast is about. So first of all, we're going to do a little bit of house cleaning here. You can find the House of Dre's podcast. It is available on several different websites like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Castbox, and of course, at times on YouTube. So make sure you're following the House of Dre anywhere, just in case it's somewhere that you probably can't get to. Just let me know and I'll try to get it on there. If you like to hear more of a content base that's based off of one thing, aka wrestling. If you like wrestling and everything is about wrestling for you, then go over to Dre's Wrestling Talk podcast on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Spotify, and follow that because I do that podcast also. And let's get the first podcast of 2025 over with. Let's do it. I mean, I haven't done one this year yet. Of course, I'm locked and loaded. But before I start up, I do this every time to y'all. Before I actually start up, there is a differences in between how you know what I'm doing on the podcast. So basically, if you don't hear the intro music in the beginning of the podcast, that means I'm recording off my phone. And if you do hear it, I'm recording off the laptop. So today, I'm off the phone today. Had to do a lot of folding. Had to do a lot of clothes. The children's clothes are folded and put up. I just did my clothes. So I got to go put that up. I also need to make something for dinner, which I haven't decided what I'm going to make yet. I have an idea. I don't know if I have I don't know if I have everything to do it. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, welcome home to the podcast. Always leave a comment. Always share it. Always leave it a 5-star review. Let me know what you're loving about the podcast. And of course, this is a major thing. This is a big major thing. If there is a topic, if there is a subject, if there's something that you find very interesting that you want to hear me discuss about, whether it's wrestling, whether it's music-wise, whether it's anything. If you want that, send that to me. You can find me on Twitter at Andre Green on Twitter. You can go to one of the you can go to one of the YouTube. You can go to my YouTube page, which is the House of Andre on YouTube. That's you can leave a comment on one of those videos or something, or send a message or something. That's fine. You can find me on Facebook, Andre Green on Facebook. I have what do I have? I have a picture of an animated picture of myself on there with an afro. It was the podcast's picture that said House of Dre. So if you know what they look like, that's what you're looking to look for. If you're on Facebook, you can see my message that way. I'm trying to think of another way. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things. I guess if you have a Gmail account from Google, if you have a Gmail account, you're looking for Mr. Andre 2252 at gmail.com. So you can send me a message on there saying, hey, can you do content off of this? Or you can go to my Yahoo page, which is Andre2252 at yahoo.com. You can also send me stuff there. So I'm bringing y'all in. This is the house, and I'm bringing y'all into the house. So those are different ways you can contact me to send me stuff if you can't find my social media stuff, or you don't have social media. Well, you have YouTube or something, you can go there. And if you don't have that, if you have Gmail or Google, or Yahoo, you can send me there. So there's different ways you can send it, or you can leave it down at the comment section of the podcast. They also have a comment section that you go ahead and just drop a comment on there. Say, hey, can you talk about this? I want to hear you ramble about this. I can do it all. I'm the GOAT. Let's be honest here. I'm the GOAT. This is the only podcast that gets you random stuff on a week-to-week basis. Come on now, let's get it. But let's start off with our 2025 podcasting. This list of superhero movies. I enjoy superhero movies. If you guys do not know, I am a superhero nerd, pretty much. Not a super nerd. I don't read comic books, but I do my research based off of whatever this film is about, and then I try to educate people as best as I can. Of course, I don't do it a lot. It's because they also doing a differences between the live action and the comic books. Comic books show a little bit more freedom to do a lot more stuff, and then in the live action, you can't get the same results. So I do pull back on that a lot. But let's go ahead. This is said the 12 best superhero movies ever made. This is by Tim Moloney. This is from Yahoo themselves. So this is the first Yahoo This is the first Yahoo article we're gonna do, and I have to back out and go back in there because apparently it's not loading up for whatever reason. So let's do that. But yeah, this should be exciting. Like I said, for this year, I got a lot of plans and stuff. I don't know if y'all got, I got a lot of stuff, and y'all just see it. Y'all just see it. So the first movie, oh, no order. No order. That's good. The first movie we're going to talk about happens to be The Dark Knight 2008. Let's talk about The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is doing the Christian Bale's Batman trilogy movies, which I definitely enjoyed. He did The Dark Knight, this one, and then you also had The Dark Knight Returns or Rises or something. Is it that? I don't know. But the three different villains that he had for the first movie, it was Scarecrow. The second movie, the Scarecrow, and I want to say the League. I want to say it was no, that's later. So you had the Scarecrow in the first movie. I think this one is the Joker, which is my favorite DC villain. And then the last one is Bane. So we're focused right here on the Joker part. This is Heath Ledger's Joker, by the way. And yeah, this is a really fantastic film from start to finish. We started off in the very beginning to where we get to deal with the Joker and him robbing banks. We also dealt with the false appearance for Batman was him stopping a drug deal? A drug bust? I think it was a drug bust between the Scarecrow and some henchmen or whatever. And then we get into the whole Joker and Batman's pretty much battle, right? Pretty much throughout the whole movie. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. I mean, I'm biased though. I'm really biased. Anything that comes with the Joker in it, I'm going to be biased heavily because, like I said, the Joker is my favorite DC villain. So Heath Ledger did a fantastic GOAT-related job on the Joker. I mean, the way he was acting with the character, the way he brought the character to life, the way the character was different from Jack Nicholson's Joker from the early days. Everything that I wanted, I got it. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing work. He did a really good job with the Joker character. It looks perfect. I ain't gonna lie. It's like one of my favorite movies, I think. I think it's probably my favorite Batman movie, quite honestly. And I'm not a Batman fan, so that says a lot. Yeah, some of y'all probably didn't know that I'm not a Batman fan. I do not care about anything about Batman. I said Batman, don't care for him. His villains, like his villains. Despite people trying to... No, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. But yes, I definitely enjoyed this film from start to finish. I love the details about the Scarecrow, because one of the things I have noticed about a lot of superhero films, so as we all know, Batman usually send his people to Arkham, right? Normally get sent to Arkham a lot, and they're not killed, they're not, and whatever. They just get sent to Arkham, and then they come back on the streets, but they got the fear of Batman in them. So this one, I love the fact that the Scarecrow was still around doing Scarecrow crap. Like, he was still trying to do his stuff on the side, and he just get caught by Batman. So he's like, So it's like a good, okay. So there is still other villains. I mean, there is the other villain from the last movie. He's still around. Cool. That's good, because a lot of superhero films, what they do is they'll give you this, but they don't talk about the past villains or something like that, or they don't bring them back up. So like a lot of the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, a lot of things that they do, I've noticed, is that they get the villain, and it's either trying to turn the villain good, or they get the villain and lock him up. There's never a time to where like they couldn't stop the villain, and then the villain like disappears and they come back later. It's hardly a lot of those times. Most of the times it's been somebody break them out or something like that. So I like the little change of pace in this, a little change of pace for this type of film. So I was like, yeah, this is what's up. I'm 1000% for it. Definitely one of my favorite ones. Top 12. This is like, for me, I think this might be a top 5. I ain't gonna lie. I don't have a top 5 superhero list, but this right here, arguably, this is top 5 for me. This is, that's arguably top 5. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think there's a lot of like I said, I watch majority of the MCU, and I watch majority of the DCEU, besides like 2 movies from that side. And then for Marvel, I've seen majority of it. I've been lacking heavily, and I do mean heavily, on watching Marvel movies the past year in the TV series. But I think this year at some point I'm gonna lock down and start rewatching everything and do some reviews. So that'd be something to come to the platform. But yeah. This is probably a top 5. This is most likely a top 5. I enjoyed this movie for everything that they gave us. Everything they gave us. The next up, it happens to be Avengers: Infinity War, 2018. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely enjoyed Infinity War. I hope some of y'all don't realize this, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyway, just because some of y'all don't know, Infinity War is a better Avengers movie than Endgame. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Endgame doesn't touch anything that Infinity Wars did. Let me put your mind to this. Some of y'all might push back. I hope none of y'all push back. Well, honestly, y'all know I tell the truth around here a lot. Hope y'all don't push back. But think about this. Think about this. We get this build up. It's been building up for years, right? We get this build up. And the first opening scene we get Thor being beat down, his people killed on the ship that just happened from Asgard. And we pop up and we see the Black Order. We see Thanos popping up. Thanos and the Hulk throw his hands. And I said, let Thanos have his fun. And Thanos proceeds to just outshine the Hulk. Arguably the strongest character for the Avengers. Arguably, him or Thor, arguably. And he just beats the man so senseless that he was a non-factor for the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie, not the rest of the universe. The rest of the movie, the Hulk was no longer active. There was no coming back from that. Thanos whipped that man's tail. He killed Loki and told him, "There's no more tricks around here. You're actually dead." Then they blow up the ship. They destroy Thor. They travel the world to get these stones. So much fear that they're traveling and they're finding the stones anywhere and just causing destruction wherever they went, to a point to where they actually had to travel to Thanos's old planet, challenge Thanos head up with a plan to take the gauntlet. Didn't succeed. We know why, the Star-Lord and stuff. Didn't succeed. He proceeds to pretty much beat every single person on that planet like they was nothing. And was threatened to kill if needs be just to make sure he won. Then after all that drama, we turn around and we get Wakanda, which it has established itself as a fearsome, most powerful army that they have in the MCU at that point in time. We go to there to block Thanos' Black Order from taking the last stone. We get that. We get this epic battle and showdown and stuff. We get this crazy little back and forth where Thanos' army is like wild dogs, pretty much, you want to call it, like wild animals with no leashes on them. And they goes through Wakanda's army and they're fighting. This is a hard battle. Turn around, they win the battle. Just to say, the big boss is here. This man Thanos, he has 5 of the stones. He's not even wasting time fighting no more. He's done throwing hands. Turn around and just use the stones just to place them like, all right, back it up. Excuse me. Thank you. This man, who's this guy? Who's this Captain American guy? Get this guy out of here. Beats them, turns around, hits a snap after Thor then shoved an axe that Thor had to go create. Thor had to create a new weapon to use to kill Thanos, stabbed him in the chest, and Thanos said, "Boy, stop, you should have took the head off." Snapped the universe away, disappeared. The end of the story to where the Avengers didn't get a W. Come on now. You can't outright. There's so much stuff that happened. You just can't outright that. I'm sorry. Yes, I think this is part of my top 5 also. This is one of the best Marvel movies they ever done, in my personal opinion. I ain't gonna lie. You can't touch that movie. I ain't gonna lie. You can't. There's no flaws into it. I mean, it could be a little bit flaws in here, but to me, it's minimal. It's a perfect movie, in my personal opinion. Love the ending because it left a big question mark moving forward. It got you excited for Endgame. All the excitement for Endgame came from Infinity War. Let's be honest here. It came from Infinity War. Infinity War didn't end off like that. Wouldn't even happen. I'm just saying. Great movie. I know it's like I'm doing too much, but I'm not. This movie's amazing, amazing movie. You haven't watched it? I don't know what you're doing. Go watch it. Next up, we got Spider-Man number 2, 2004. This is Dr. Ock. Yeah, okay. This is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Loved it. Love it. Another one of those good movies. This is one of the better. I think out of all, how many movies he has? Out of all 8 Spider-Man movies, this one, I think this one, the original. Okay, you got the original one. You got this one, which is the second one. The third one wasn't that good in my personal opinion. The first Amazing Spider-Man movie was really good, so that's 3. And then Tom Holland Spider-Man's. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the thought process of the second one, and then No Way Home was nostalgia bait, but I'll take it anyway. Yeah, this is the best one. Yeah, this is the best one. Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man number 2 is the best Spider-Man movie. Personally, my personal opinion. Live action. Let me put that out there. Live action. 'Cause I know some of y'all gonna be like, "Hey, Andre, what about the you don't remember Into the Spider-Verse?" Calm down. So yeah, this is a really good movie. This is during a time where Peter and what's her name, Mary Jane, their relationship really started getting heavy. Watch yourself. They really started building up their relationship really good. We have Dr. Ock getting the whole octopus arms and stuff and everything that's going on with him. We get the build up to Harry and what was going on, him still trying to figure out why his father was killed by Spider-Man and not knowing it was Peter. We got so much built up in there. There's so much stuff that goes on there. We had it to where even he thought about quitting being Spider-Man. You know, we had so much stuff going on in that Spider-Man 2 movie. It was just all wonderful. Everything was just so wonderful. It worked so well in my personal opinion. Everything was just perfect. Side note, y'all probably, I'll assume y'all know this. I'm assuming y'all know this. Y'all might not, but I'm assuming y'all know this. But Tobey Maguire is the strongest Spider-Man. It goes Tobey, it goes Andrews, and then it goes Tom Holland. Now, Tom Holland does have an opportunity to surpass both of them, strength-wise, and experience-wise, because depends on how the MCU continues to go, and depends on how long they're going to keep Tom Holland Spider-Man into it. But Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the strongest. If you don't believe me, go rewatch No Way Home. Go back to the part to where all the villains turned on Tom Holland Spider-Man. When they turned on him, did y'all see how Doc Ock's spine busted freaking Peter through the freaking building? Yeah. And you see what happens after that. He was like, "Oh, my back is killing me." He hadn't dealt with a supervillain like that. He haven't dealt with a supervillain that was that strong like that. Like the other two have. He has not. So there's a potential there. But that's a side note. Sorry. Side note. Y'all know what I do. But yes, I enjoyed this film. Yeah, 100%. I enjoyed this film. There's no like. If only thing I can think about that I didn't like about not Tom Holland, but the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the lack of Mary Jane throughout, like her character development throughout the whole trilogy was lacking heavily. I felt like they could do a lot more. They could have done a lot more, explore a lot more with her, you know. But I'm not going to trip too much about it. I think it was, like I said, amazing film. So I'm not going to harp on it too much, but I felt like they could have done a lot more with her character, make her more important to Peter, why he's so much in love with her, outside of just living next door. Because quite honestly, that's what it felt like. It felt like just because they live next door, Peter's in love with her. I mean, let's explore the origins of their relationship. Let's talk more about why he has this strong crush on her, why he feels the way he feels when it comes to Mary Jane compared to any other ones that he would date in the future or dated beforehand. I wish they would explore that more, build her character up a little bit more, make her seem like she was more important than just this is his and this is it. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? Up and down. But yeah. But anyway, I enjoyed the film. Definitely. Is that in my top 5? I'll have to rewatch. Once I rewatch, then we be good to go. The next movie up, I'm surprised this is on here. It's X-Men 2, X-Men United. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't know about that one. I've seen all the X-Men movies, by the way. X-Men is my favorite superhero team. So my favorite villain is the Joker. My favorite superhero or anti-hero, depends on how you look at it, is Wolverine. And then my favorite team up is the X-Men. Everything about the X-Men, I relate more. I love everything about the X-Men. The X-Men storylines are some of my favorite storylines. Just because how rich the history is, how many people become X-Men, and everybody that's joined the X-Men in Xavier's team has their own back history that's darker, deeper than anything we can even think of. Come on now. Come on now. But X-Men 2, I would have to say no. Why am I saying no? I'm saying no is because in the first X-Men movie, we get Wolverine, we get Shadow, no, we get Rogue. We get this relationship there, which doesn't make sense, comic book wise and stuff. That doesn't make sense. I'll explain later. But we get from there and we get them joining the team and stuff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The next step they decided to do was explore more of Wolverine's history. And when they explored his history, it made it feel like everybody else was just second to Wolverine, to Logan. Everything became second to Logan. So it's like, yeah, Logan is the centerpiece of the X-Men, and everything revolves around Logan. Anything and everything, it goes through Logan. And that's true. And I understand it's because they was making Hugh Jackman the face of X-Men. It's pretty much what Hollywood ended up doing. While, of course, I'm a Wolverine fan, so of course I love it. At the same time, I'm like, everything's not just Wolverine. Like, everybody else has their rich history. We got to talk about Professor X history with Magneto, his own sister, who didn't show up until Deadpool 2. Deadpool and Wolverine movie, by the way, just in case you all know who his sister was. His brother, Juggernaut, their history right there. We got to talk about Cyclops' history, his brother, Havoc. He was in First Class, just in case y'all didn't know. We got to talk about that history. There's other histories. We got to talk about Storm and her time in Africa. We got to talk about Jean Grey and her history of controlling her powers and how powerful she truly is as a meta and why she's top 5 and stuff. We got to explore that one. We didn't get too much into Rogue at all, quite honestly. Outside of the first movie, we kind of just like, we gave a little bit, and then they moved away. They went from, she's so powerful and so XYZ that Magneto is trying to steal her powers to force everybody to be mutants. We went from that to, okay, we're done with that storyline. We'll just make her a really bad side character that now she's just upset just to be upset type deal. That was bad on its own. We didn't talk, it's like I said, the X-Men have so many different storylines and arcs to work with. And for X-Men 2, instead of exploring more of that, or anything like that, instead, they did a reverse and said, we'll just focus on Wolverine's past and everything about Wolverine, which, like I said, I loved. But at the same time, for X-Men film, that was a bad route that they went. That was a jacked up route they went. They could have I wish they didn't do that at all, quite honestly. I would rather them focus on building the X-Men team and not just focus on just a single X-Men and just focus that and say, this is X-Men Wolverine plus friends is what that felt like. And I was like, man, like I said, the film was cool. Like, I enjoyed the little backstory a little bit. And then all that gets recanted anyway in the origin story. And then that gets recanted later on at the end of Days of Future Past. So a lot of that stuff just, it started up, but it started enough to help out for the Wolverine's solo film. But in hindsight, when you rewatch it and stuff, it felt out of place and unnecessary to do when you're trying to do the X-Men, not Wolverine and friends. My personal opinion alone. I'm just saying. I enjoy it, but definitely not top 5, not 12, not any of that. My personal opinion. No, definitely not. Next up is Logan 2017. Yes. The only movie that almost made me actually cry. I almost did. I almost dropped that tear. Almost. Very super close to dropping that tear. But I held on. I pushed through. You know what I'm saying? Ba-boo. But Logan focused on old man Logan from the comic books of Wolverine's pretty much done. He's older. His adamantium ain't the same no more. Now it hurts worse when he pulls the weapons out to fight. You can say naive if you want to. He don't have the same burst of energy that he would have in his prime, at his absolute X-Men prime, if you want to argue that part. And with that focusing so much on that aspect of Wolverine's lifestyle, it was a really emotional movie. It was also the one of the first for Marvel side. I want to say for Marvel side is one of the first rated R aspect of the movies. I know we got Blade back in the day too, so I'm not gonna go that route. But this one's more. I think this is more a lot more violence, a lot more showcasing Wolverine than we have seen Wolverine in the past couple movies. I mean, since he began. So we got to see the real violent side of Wolverine and everything like that. We get the introduction. Watching Xavier, the way he got older and how that screwed up his mind, showcasing that Logan, how much he really cared about Professor X throughout all those years of being an X-Men, to where he's the one who's taking care of him up until his death, which is kind of crazy. Let's be honest here. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, because there's no more Scott, Jean, all those people are gone, or they're just gone. I mean, they're gone, nowhere around, and it's Logan's. And Logan feel like it's his responsibility, his job to continue with Xavier, be the last one for Xavier. It's crazy. It's kind of, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of crazy, but just showcase the relationship they both had and built over so many years together. And then we the introduction of X-23 and her being pretty much him 2.0, younger, way more younger, a lot more vicious. You want to argue? We can argue that. Just what he would have looked like if he was tamed, type deal. That's how I look at it. And we got the interaction between those two, the build up for those two and their relationship. Man, everything is crazy. Yeah, and then we get to see the last hoorah for Logan. Beautiful work. Love. Like I said, yeah, that's one of I think that is my favorite superhero movie of all time. I don't think anybody else can reach for me personally. That's just for me personally. I ain't talking about for the franchise. It's just for me personally. That is so much positive, so much good. It was great. It wasn't. Oh man, it was just everything that kind of like everything I ever wanted. Almost. That's what it felt like. Everything I kind of wanted, minus him being old. I think. I think that was just like the only thing. I'm like, yeah. Only if he wasn't just old. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but it made it feel like that was it for Hugh Jackman. You know what I'm saying? The last Hugh Jackman movie, it felt like the last Hugh Jackman Wolverine we was going to ever get. Of course, that didn't happen, but that's what it felt like. It felt like, this is it. This is it. This is the last bit. This is the last time we will see this. Last time we'll see him as a character. So I felt like we were saying goodbye to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. That's what it felt like. It felt like a good old fashioned thanks for having this amazing character and being in the face of this character for so long, and we just want to give you a goodbye one last time. That's what it felt like for me. So yeah, one of the top 12, top 3, the best one for me. I think the number one for me, in my personal opinion. Next up, we got Deadpool 2016, the very first Deadpool movie. Interesting. I ain't gonna lie, that's interesting. That's interesting, and the reason I say it's interesting because I remember when this movie came out, it was a positive feedbacks, but I didn't think it was this much positive feedback. I ain't gonna lie. I enjoyed the film, learning more about Deadpool that I did not know. I did not know Deadpool really didn't. I mean, I know Deadpool. I know Deadpool for some years before the movie and stuff like that. So just watching him on a big screen and doing what he does is awesome. I was like, oh, this is cool. I always push for Ryan Reynolds to be Deadpool. I mean, since he played it in an origin story, I was like, yeah, this only makes sense if he is Deadpool. I mean, they're the freaking same person pretty much. Let's be honest here. So it was cool. I enjoyed it. I felt like there's more to Deadpool, the Deadpool character, that I might not know of. And the 2016 movie really didn't. I mean, it highlighted what they want to highlight it, but I felt like there was more that we could have, that we don't know. Was more to him, but that means I have to go read more comics. That's all that means. That means I have to go do research, find videos, breakdowns, all that stuff to figure out the Deadpool character. You know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoyed the movie. You know, it's like the origin stories for him, origin stories and where we at and all this stuff. And I love the fact that Ryan Reynolds had control over the Deadpool movies because that allowed him to do what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? We got Colossus in there, and we actually got a real accurate Colossus. We had another X-Men character in there. Was it Super Negative Hyper, whatever her name is. We got to see her, and we got to see her in action. You know, it wasn't just like, yeah, we can only get the 2 X-Men and that's it. So, well, it's 2 of them that really didn't get that bright shine in the X-Men films. You know what I'm saying? We got Colossus, but Colossus really didn't do much. And we didn't understand, he was almost like a mute almost for those films. And then we also got somebody we never seen at all, or supposedly we never seen at all, and we got to see her in action too. So it's kind of like a plus in my personal opinion. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Definitely a good movie. I don't think it's in my top 5 though. I don't think it's that. But I can see why they say top 12. That's fine. We can do top 12 with that. I'm not tripping about that. Next up is Black Panther 2018. 100%. Pretty sure this is in my top 5 also. Yes. There's no if, there's no ands, there's no buts about it. Yes. Black Panther, it was smart how they did it. Black Panther. Black Panther made his debut for Civil War. We got a little bit of it. We got a little bit of origin story for him and everything. You know, we got a little bit of it, but I was not prepared for what they were trying to do with Black Panther. And then understanding the Black Panther and the history of the Black Panther, all this extra stuff with Black Panther, definitely say yes. Oh yeah. Good movie, great movie. Chad Boseman, rest in peace. Epic. And I know who knew he was battling cancer and all this stuff, doing even the filming of everything. It's crazy work. So that makes his opinion, that makes his acting stuff even that much better. But yeah, I love everything about the Black Panther movie 2018. I love everything that they did for it. The understanding of where it came from and the culture behind it and the powers of it, and then like a combat trial that anybody can challenge him for the throne as long as they are a part of Wakanda. And yeah, I just love everything about it. It felt like culture. That's what it felt like. It felt like a culture. It didn't feel like this is just a movie. It felt like this is part of the Marvel culture. It felt like a Black Panther culture. It felt like, yeah, this is how they used to do it back in the day. You know, before anything happened, this is how they used to do it. And that's what it felt like when I'm watching the film. When he's not in a Black Panther suit and we're just in Wakanda. That's why I feel like that. You know, it might be silly. It could be silly to y'all, but I feel like that's how some of these countries, that's what they are. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the USA, by the way. Just in case you're listening, I'm from the USA. And I never felt like, I felt like we're decent, but I felt like y'all from the other countries, you know, France and England and Russia and Italy and wherever else, I felt like there's some stuff that the U.S. knows, but there's stuff that we're not going to know because we don't live there. You know what I'm saying? It's like a deeper pool, and there's that deeper pool is epic. I ain't gonna lie, it's probably epic. So there's some stuff that we don't know, don't understand, and vice versa. So I felt like watching Black Panther. I felt like that was a culture thing. That wasn't just here's a film, a black superhero, here you go. No, I felt like it was, this is Black Panther. I'm gonna show y'all why this is Black Panther, the deep meaning of Black Panther, everything about this is a Black Panther film. This is the culture film, and I felt like that was a culture thing, and that was great. Along with Killmonger and how he was American breed, but he's American breed compared to the African style, the Wakanda style. And I felt like that's a realistically thing too. That's something that I don't talk about on my podcast, but I feel like that is something that compared to an American man, compared to a man from Africa who legit raised and born in Africa, who don't mess with the States, versus a man who was born in America, or he was from Africa, but again, he's been raised up on American culture and stuff. and they have met in battle, I felt like that's what that would look like. It felt like two different things. One is upset at the other one, but at the same time, the other one just don't understand. I feel, like I said, I connect with it. I'm not gonna lie, I connect with it. And like I said, there's probably some films for y'all out there that does the same thing to where it felt like a culture thing. It doesn't feel like a normal movie. It felt like a culture thing. Like I said, maybe some Italians. I don't know nothing about Italy, right? But I'll assume, I'm not gonna say you do, but I'm assuming if you watch the Godfather or whatever, and you see the mobs and stuff, it's like, yeah, that feels like a culture movie. It doesn't feel like an American movie about Italians and stuff. You probably feel like that's a real American, like this is your culture. Like, yeah, this is culture. This is not a BS film. This is a culture film. And that's what Black Panther felt for me. It felt like a culture film, not no, this is American. This is a made up comic book. No. We get that. But right now it feels like, you know what I'm saying? But it feels like a culture film. There's the vibe within the culture because of an outsider that came in who's born from the inside, but was raised on the outside. So I understand that. I connect with that real heavily. Real heavily. So heavily that I think I'm about to put that in my top 3. I think that might be number 2. Well, it might be Logan and then Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep I feel. That's just right now, of course. That's just how deep I feel it. That's me. The next up, we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I knew this was going to make this list. I freaking knew it. I knew it. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because it's a really good film. It is. It's a fantastic film. Animation style at the heaviest, of course. You get so many different versions of Spider-Man. And the crazy part is watching people trying to compare, like, oh, why don't live action do this? Because live action don't have time to be getting 100 different freaking Spider-Mans for a live action movie. That's just not gonna work. That's not how it works. They have potential to do it. Oh, I mean, it's Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It's the movie industry. The movie industry, you can do as much as you want to. Let's be honest. Your creative mind doesn't stop there. It's the budget that they tell you how much you can spend, and people and their times. That's the thing. Egos, money, all that. So I feel like it was a really good film. Really good film. I enjoyed this one more than like the second one. The second one I really don't care too much about. I ain't gonna lie. So I gotta see what the verdict will be on with the third one. Definitely enjoyed it, man. Definitely enjoyed it. Miles Morales getting his own little solo, quote unquote solo film. Not really animation style. I enjoyed it. There's so much stuff that they did in there. I was like, oh man, I love I love the people who put this together. I love the artists and stuff and the people that work the programs and stuff to get this up. This makes me appreciate more about what they do, you know, because doing a writer strike, all this promotion and stuff shut down and stuff, and then they was told they had to do X, Y, Z. That wasn't gonna happen. That was impossible. Yeah, but shout out to the movie. I have to say, yes, part of the top 12. I guess it's a good film. Everybody enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna put it in I don't think it's in my top 10. It might be, but whew, I've seen a lot. So you know what I'm saying. Next up, we got X-Men: Days of Future Past. Yeah, I think this is in my top 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's the whole idea of sending somebody's mind back into time, and we get to see how all that plays out, along with dealing with the current day situation. Majority of the mutants are wiped out. Not only the majority of the mutants are wiped out, the world has changed so much because of the Sentinels. Just in case y'all didn't know, it's part of one of my favorite X-Men storylines they do run is the Sentinels. The Sentinels were designed to eliminate all mutants. To a point to where they started developing to where if they could see it in I think they could see it growing inside somebody's body, they also arrest or eliminate them too. So it became like a regular problem. It became like a normal problem. It became a problem just for the mutants. And then it goes from the mutants targeting people who doesn't even have it in their system, that is not in the mutant at all. And that becomes a problem for them. So it's like the evolution, man. I enjoyed it. Every time they talked about, like, once they did the First Class and started focusing on the First Class of X-Men and stuff for the live actions, man, that's what some of their best writing right there. And it's like, that's crazy because y'all doing this because, we got to just to reboot the X-Men films. And then they still jacked it up with Dark Phoenix. But hey, Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite films from the X-Men saga. Like, I don't want to go through all of them. It's one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite ones easily because of the situation he was in and how much stuff had to happen. Katy Perry, which is Shadowcat. The fact I didn't even know she had the ability to send somebody's mind back into space. I think that's just a live action things. I don't think I've ever heard of her doing that. She didn't do it in the comics. I mean, she might have done it in the comics somewhere, but she's never done it in the animation series. So I don't know where they came with that from. Got to see Bishop for the first time. We got to see a lot of characters. We got to see Blink because she was in there. Like we got to saw a lot of mutants in there, but we didn't. What they didn't get to do, and what we didn't get to see, is them discussing every single mutant and what they was there for and what happened to them outside of being hunted. That's all they kind of a cop out. Like they're here because they're getting hunted. That's all why they're here. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing more. Nothing less. So cop out for that, but I'll take it. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take it. I got to see them boys on the big screen, so I took it. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. So, hey, they also had that one moment with Shadowcat and Wolverine to where they should know each other. I said, yeah, they 1000% know each other. This is crazy. She's an X-Men too, so it kind of made it interesting that Magneto had her first before Xavier did. And I don't know. There's a lot of different things, man. The next up, we got Blade, 1998, the very first Blade movie that helped open the door for Marvel to continue the live actions. Okay. It's been so long since I watched any Blade movie. I have to go back and watch them because I haven't watched Blade and since I was a teenager, probably. So that was late 2000s, mid to late 2000s, before the 2010 started. So I probably seen Blade, but I didn't watch Blade. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those I probably seen it, but didn't understand the storyline, didn't understand what was going on. All I knew at one point that Triple H was in it, and I'm a wrestling guy, of course. So I knew, oh, Triple H is in Blade? Oh, okay. And I seen the part where he got his tail beat by Blade. That was awesome. Watching him on a big screen again for Deadpool Wolverine, awesome. But outside of knowing that he's a vampire hunter, outside of that, I don't know much about Blade, and I need to. Especially trying to make remake Blade, which have at this point in time, if I'm not mistaken, it's at a pause. I don't know what's going on. It's so difficult. I don't understand why they make it so difficult. Just retell the story. Golly, they acting like this is don't be dumb. You know what I'm saying? Just retell the story. You got Wesley Snipes to come back to play Blade. Have him be older Blade, and there's a new Blade coming around or something. It doesn't matter. They need to share the same name and stuff. Is it really that difficult to do that? Multiverse. I mean, you got the multiverse object, so you could bring this Wesley Snipes Blades in from one universe, which is the dead universe, the other Marvel universes, and you combine them with the new Marvel. So this Blade is now interacting with the new Blade and build a story from that. You know, it's not hard. It's not. And then you kind of have like a Passion of the Torch where Wesley Snipes is retiring as Blade and allowing this other guy to be the new Blade. Is that hard? I guess it could be. I gotta watch it. It's on my list though. My ever-growing list of things to watch don't never stop. Let's be honest. It don't ever stop. But shout out to Wesley Snipes and the Blade creators and writers and stuff, because you guys helped set up the Marvel Universe that we see and love today. Next up, we got The Incredibles 2004. Fascinating. Didn't think The Incredibles would have made this list. Let's be honest here. I didn't see that at all. I didn't think they would even go that far, but they did. They went that far to add in the amazing people of The Incredibles. The Incredibles was awesome because it had a group of family. We start off at the beginning to where it was this guy and his wife. No, you start off with Mr. Incredible, face of the company, face of the superhero owning things and stuff. It's kind of reminds you of My Hero Academia when it comes to All Might. Before All Might was the peak, so Mr. Incredible was the peak. And then you have Elastigirl, you had these other heroes around, but everybody know it was Mr. Incredible and everybody else. And then those two got together, got married, had 3 kids. All 3 kids have powers. And fast forwarded to where heroes are no longer allowed to be heroes no more. That's kind of like the dead over with universe. And now we're just watching him get back into it. Man, yeah, I enjoyed it. It did everything that you wanted to do for a superhero film. Talk about the past, You talk about the present times, and then you flirt with the future, which you get in Incredibles 2. I can argue and put Incredibles number 2 up there because that was also a really good film, in my personal opinion. I think it probably got a lot of pushback because men in America, by the way, just in case y'all did not know, that they push back hard on women leading movies and franchises. Don't know why. We need them. I don't know what's going on here. We need it though. But yeah, I enjoyed Incredibles. Incredibles was crazy. I do have a death battle to do with the Incredibles, so y'all will see that at some point. The Incredibles is involved in a death battle that we have to talk about and discuss and do information on. So you'll see that. So this is not the first time or last time we'll talk about the Incredibles. We'll bring that back up again. But hey, let's keep it. Let's keep it. Let's go for the last one. The last one happens to be Superman 1978. I have no opinions on that movie. I've never seen any of the old Superman movies. I've seen majority of the Batman movies, but I've never seen I haven't seen none of those movies. None of those Superman movies. So I'm out of touch with that one. I ain't gonna lie, I'm out of touch with that one. So, but that's it. That's it. That is the 12 best superhero movies ever made. It's the idea of the superhero movies. Because I am writing a superhero book, by the way, on Wattpad.com, WATTPAD.com. Just look for AJ Green 2012. I have my superhero chapters. I'm right on there. The things with superhero movies is it's just that the movies part is a lot of stuff is really predictable. There's no big twists that they try to do because it's like at the end of the day, is the superhero gonna win? And usually it's a yeah. So superhero movies are not. I enjoy them. I definitely enjoy them. I think last year or so we was talking about whether or not it was overblown or something like that, or is it doing too much? Because a lot of the directors and a lot of movie creators and stuff were saying that Marvel and DC screwed up filming because everybody wants to watch superhero filming, and it's just not true. It's like we have stories. There's a lot of stories. You can join the stories time too. And that's what happens. They created The Incredibles. Over there in Japan, in their anime selection, they created My Hero Academia, and they also created One Punch Man. And then we also have with Melissa McCarthy and Olivia Spencer with Thunder Force. They did that film. Raising Dion was also another one. But that was a TV series and stuff. There's a lot of superhero TV series that they flirted with also. So it's like, is it really taking over Hollywood, or just everybody enjoys a superhero film? I think people just enjoy it. Of course, lately it's been slowing down. That's because a lot of Marvel has started separating what they wanted to do. So they kind of slowed down, and the DCU is about to start up in July with, starting out with Creature Commandos, but it's really about to go full force once the Superman movie drops. So that's going to be a big theme too. So I can't wait. So if you don't like them, you don't got to watch them. I mean, it's just that simple. If you don't like them, don't watch them. They do the exact same thing as your drama TV series and your whatever that you like watching. They do the exact same thing. They just do it in superhero form. So, hey, I enjoy them. But that's it. That's the end of the article. Not only that, that's the end of this podcast. This is the first of 2025. We got who knows how many we have throughout this year. Supposed to be 52 if you do the math correctly. 52 weeks. So should be 52 podcasts. But as I'm consistent enough to do all that, we'll find out, right? We'll find out. But that's it, you guys. Make sure you're following the podcast. Make sure you're sharing the podcast. The podcast is available on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, Castbox, and sometimes YouTube. So, and of course, if you're looking for wrestling content, you're looking for Dre's Wrestling Talk on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And I'll catch you guys on the next podcast.